Welcome to the Cumi Valdez podcast. Cumi Valdez means arise from the valley. I am Daniel Price, and this is my beautiful wife, Dr. Kish Cumi Price.
Really excited to join you all in this format. We'll tell you a little bit about why we're doing this, although you probably figured out a little bit about it, that it has to do with marriage. But we have some other things that we think would be really helpful to share, and we'll get into it.
Yeah, so we, during this podcast, we will be talking about marriage, relationships. We will be giving insight on blended families. We will also be giving a little insight about business, careers, working together and raising a family with both people having careers, really important careers and careers that take a lot of time. So we will talk about a lot of those things. We will also talk about health and wellness as well, and we'll share a lot of information about those things with you, and hopefully they will bless you like they have blessed us through our experience. So I kind of want to get started with talking about how we met, and I will let you start it off.
Okay, so I'll try to make it a little short and sweet, but basically, I was in what you would call the dating pool. I had gone through marriage, been divorced, and was really just in this place of feeling like I am too old to be out here dating. Like, this is not the life. However, really feeling the desire to be, able to love someone, have somebody love me. And I just felt like that was in the plan for me, but I just didn't know really how to go about it because the conventional ways just weren't for me. I wasn't one who, felt good about dating online, so never did that. And typically would hope that it happened organically, right? Like I didn't really want it to be something where somebody like set you up. So hence why you'll understand why is only God that we actually connected, because my friend, who's now family, but at the time, she, kept saying, hey, I got this guy, my cousin, you really need to meet him. He's great. He's an amazing person and all these things. Okay. And then she showed me a picture of him and I was like, ooh, like he's cute,
That's right.
Come on now. But I'm not falling for cute. You know what I mean? It's not, that can't be it. And then she said he's a coach, and that just took me all the way, like, like we're, okay, no more. You don't have to say anything else because that's not going to work for me. And the reason why, previously I was married to a coach, and I kind of just had developed a desire not to get in the position that I was in that relationship again. And that position, I really associated it with the profession. So I figured if I want to avoid this type of relationship, I need to avoid this type of person. I need to avoid someone who's in this profession because, coaching allows for you to, have a lot of travel and on the road, and it requires dedication from both parties, I guess I'll say, to preserve the marriage, to protect the marriage. And so I was just like, the best way for me to protect myself is just to not go down that road. So anyway, close the book. I'm done. Like, thank you, but no thank you. She keeps randomly just, bringing him up again. I'm saying the same thing. Thank you, but no thank you. And I think this is where I might... Oh no, this is what happened. So I also had gotten tired of like going to these events, big events, and not having a plus one, right? Like not being with someone. Now, don't get me wrong. I love to dance, love, to be around people and, fellowship, socialize, whatnot. But this particular night, I just was not feeling it. And it was our church gala. And she's like, come on, we'll have fun. We'll have a good time. And I was so like, no, like I'm done. I'm good. I'll chill at home. I had already had a little plan. Like I was looking forward to my night at home alone, right? And she's like, come on, we'll have a good time. So I said, okay, all right. So I get ready, go, and of course have a wonderful time. Have fun, everything, right? So I had no idea. I mean, I kind of did, I guess. She was taking pictures and stuff, but I didn't notice. I didn't think about all of the connections or what might happen after that. We just in the moment had a good time. She posted a picture of us from that gala on her Facebook page, and then
okay, let me jump in because there's two sides to every story, and there's a connection here. So, like she said, her friend Brandy, who was my cousin, actually was, me and Brandy was having conversations, and I was telling her about the relationship that I was had just ended. And so Brandy was saying, "Hey, you need to meet my friend," and I was just like, "No, I'm good. I don't want to meet anybody." And so Brandy kept saying, "No, you need to meet my friend. She has a really good heart. She's into the church." And then I was just like, "No, I'm good, Brandy. I pass." Because she wasn't using any adjectives that like I really wanted to hear, at that time. She wasn't saying, "Oh, she's beautiful, she's cute," and yada yada. She just kept saying, "Oh, she has a good heart," and I was just like, nah, I don't want to meet that friend. So I was just like, nah, don't worry about it. And so for like, I would say probably a couple of months, Brandy would say to me, "Hey, you really need to meet my friend," just over and over again, like at different times that we were having conversations. And so this one particular day, I saw Brandy post picture on Facebook, and I was, I liked the picture. And so like a couple of days later, Brandy and I were on the phone. We were having a conversation, and she brought up the friend again. She said, "Hey, I really want you to meet my friend." And I was like, "No, I don't want to meet that friend. I want to meet the friend that you was with in the picture with. Whoever you took the picture with that had the red dress on. That's the friend that I want to meet. I want to meet her." And then she was like, "That's the one I'm talking about. That's my friend." And I was like, "Well, you didn't say she looked good." I was like, "You just said that she has a good heart." And I was just like, no. I was like, so when she was like, "That's the friend that I'm talking about," and so I was like, "Okay, cool. Yeah, I'll meet her. Yeah, I would love to meet her." And so we were on FaceTime one day, and she was over at Brandy's house, and Brandy called me on FaceTime. And she was like, just kind of like turn the camera around so I could see that my wife was over there, and so I spoke to her over FaceTime, and just kind of was like, "Hey, how you doing? I'm Daniel," and she introduced herself to me, and so we talked briefly on the phone at that particular point in time, and I asked her if I can get her contact information from my cousin Brandy, and she was like, "Sure." She was like, "Sure." I think, once she actually saw me outside of a picture, I think that what really did it.
Oh gosh. Okay, so I'm melting inside is what I was doing at that moment, because, and not in a romantic way. Like I want to say dying inside, but I wasn't. I couldn't believe that she had put him on the phone like that. Like, and I'm like, what? I mean, for one, I told you I don't want to meet this dude. Secondly, I'm over here looking scrub. Like, I don't even... I think we had some volunteer thing or something I had gone to. So I'm just like, everything's wrong right now. Like, I'm not trying to meet him. And if I wanted to meet him, I don't want to meet him looking like this. And, but anyway, it happened.
Yeah, so, we exchanged numbers. Contact information, and we ended up talking that night. Mm-hmm. We ended up talking that night and on the phone, and man, we stayed on the phone, man, to like 4 or 5 in the morning. Yeah, we stayed on the phone till like 4 or 5 in the morning, and so I was going to see a friend of mine in the hospital that was in the hospital in Louisville, and so I asked her if I could see her. While I was in Louisville. And so we met for lunch at Taco Luchador. So we met at Taco Luchador for lunch, just a little quick lunch date. Yeah. I would say it was a date.
It was, but it's funny because I ate. You didn't even eat.
Right. I had already eaten. So it was like it was like kind of one of those weird times where I had already eaten like breakfast, brunch kind of thing. So
yeah, we ate outside, or I ate outside. We sat outside. But it was, okay, so I'll say this too. By that point in time, I had gotten comfortable with doing what I felt like I needed to do to protect myself in the dating world. And a lunch date seemed safe for me. Because I didn't feel like I'd have to be committed to, it feeling like a date. It was, more of like we're just talking, having discussions, getting to know each other, not having a, I don't know. It just felt like people were putting on airs when it was a true like date. So
right, and that's one of the things that I've always tried to avoid is putting on and wearing masks or whatever. So I like to just come as I am. And I literally came as I was.
Like, seriously. In his athletic gear. He had his OTP stuff on.
I was like,
okay.
Yeah, I was literally in my athletic gear. I was like, hey, I got coaching to do later. So,
right.
And, so I was on the road and I wanted to kind of be comfortable. So I literally had on a white OTP shirt and some blue shorts, blue basketball shorts.
And for those who don't know, OTP was his business, and so he's wearing his brand and showing up. So
yeah, you had on that like a blue jean skirt, kind of plaid blue jean dress with a jacket over top of it. So I remember those things like that, those details, those fine details. Yeah.
Get some points for that. Yeah. I'm like, what did I have on? I don't remember. But now that you said it, that's what I had on.
Yeah, so, we were sitting there at Taco Luchador outside, and, we were just talking, and I was just talking about, where I was at that moment, as far as, like, what I was feeling at that moment. Mm-hmm. And so, she could kind of sense that, the relationship that I had been in, like, I was still a little hurt by that relationship, and so she can kind of tell that, but I wasn't trying to hide it either, because I kind of wanted to let her know where I was at that moment, and I expressed to her that I had been in a relationship and that I was kind of like freshly out of that relationship, and so I still felt a little hurt a little bit by that relationship, and so I was talking to her about it, and so we were just kind of just talking in general, having general conversations. And then right before we got ready to go, she leaned in to me and she said, "Can I pray for you?" Mm-hmm. And I was like, sure. I was like, what? Because that was different. That was different for me to have someone say, "Hey, can I pray for you?" on a date, on a lunch date. But, again, we was just kind of like trying to, get to know each other, whatever, so we didn't want to, if it wasn't going to go anywhere past that moment, that was fine. So she leaned in and she was like, "Hey, can I pray for you?" And I was just like, sure. And we sat right there in front of Taco Luchador and we said a prayer and she prayed for me. And so after that, we left, we she had to get back to work at that moment. And so I gave her the side church hug, the little side hug. And walked her to her car and went to my car, and then I got in the car. So I got in the car and I was blown away by just that, her saying, "Hey, can I pray for you?" And so I called her and left her a voicemail. So I called her as soon as I got in the car and we was driving off, and I went straight to her voicemail, and I left her a voice message, and just kind of expressed what I was kind of like feeling at that moment. Yeah,
and okay, so this is weird. I guess I'll say I was in a place where, and you probably don't even know for sure. I mean, I don't know if I've ever told you this, but when I was praying for him, it was like I knew he needed he needed resolve, like he needed to be healed from what had happened. And so it wasn't like I was like at that time thinking, oh, that's my husband or we're going to be together. I was responding to what I felt was a hurt that I know the healer. Like I know God can heal. And of course he knows God too, but you know, I felt that's what I needed to do for him at that time. So it wasn't like I'm seeing future for us or anything like that. It was just the natural response in that moment. But also I didn't tell you this at the time, but I also felt like I had in my head, he's not ready for a relationship. You know what I mean? Like I had kind of just, and so I didn't know what was going to happen after that. I just was just like, he, you know, he's a nice guy.
Yeah, but that's kind of one of the things that I wanted to kind of show you as well is that, you know, I'm in this place.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm not saying I'm ready. I'm truly ready for that. Like I wanted to be vulnerable with you to show you like I'm in this place of healing.
Yes.
Of trying to heal and trying to get over what took place. And so I kind of just wanted to show my vulnerability to her. And I don't know why, because I don't always do that.
Right. I mean, but it was refreshing for one. I mean, you know what I mean? That you were that open about how you were feeling, and it was almost like I was like, is he trying to sabotage this? Like, he was literally saying things that you wouldn't say on a first date. You know, it's kind of like when you watch movies and it's like, you're having a date and somebody's like talking about like how they're hurt from, you know, you're just like, okay,
you know, and moving on. But again, you know, my mentality has always been like, what you see is what you get.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not going to put on for you. I'm not going to, you know, I'm not going to put on this show and this facade.
Yeah.
And then later you'll be thinking, well, this is definitely not who this guy is. So I kind of just wanted to show you who I am and where I was at that moment.
Yeah.
And just, you know, share some things with you. So
yeah. And I mean, I felt it. I received it that way. And so when he left this message, then it was another about face for me because I was just like, oh, that's interesting. So much so that I like actually kept the message. So I'm going to see. I don't know if you all can hear. I'm going to try to make it so that you can hear it. Okay.
I really enjoyed the company. And I think that you are a very special person. And that you have a gentle spirit. And I really enjoy that about you so far. But yeah, I just wanted to tell you that. Okay, so I hope you have a great rest of it, of your day. All right, bye.
Okay, so I don't know. Listen, and that was back in 2018. So
oh my goodness.
I want to say that I don't know if y'all could hear that, but hopefully you could. At first, it started playing in my AirPod, so. Anyway, I thought it was funny because, you know, first of all, you were being very transparent and compassionate and even sharing that. But it was telling of his personality as well because he's like, you know, you're a very special person and something. And he's like, you're so far.
Yeah, so if you couldn't hear the message, so basically I called and I left a voicemail and I said, you know, hey, I just wanted to tell you that you are a very special person. You have a gentle spirit that I enjoy so far.
Right. And if you don't know him, then you don't understand why that's funny. But it's like he's cautiously optimistic, right? And very like straight shooter. So it was definitely him, right? And it's funny because, I mean, I guess we can fast forward the story a little bit because you may be wondering like, okay, so how long did you all date or how did it kind of lift from this space, you know? And all I can say is God healed, right? Like he was in a place of working on us individually and collectively at the same time. And although in my head, I guess I had played out what seemed like a reasonable amount of time to be dating someone before you would consider them marriage. You know, like this is somebody I want to be married to. All of that went to the wind. Like I can't even tell you. We've been telling people for the longest we dated for 3 months. We kept saying, yeah, we were dating for 3 months, and then and even that is staggering, right? To be like, you were dating for 3 months and then you got married. What? But we did the math, and it was
right.
We're like, wait. So it was actually 72 days. We dated for 72 days, and then went to get married, and it's
and so that process was kind of it was so we say 72 days, and we were literally going on dates like every single day for like 72 days. I mean, literally every day. Whether it was me driving to Louisville to meet her for lunch, or she would drive down to meet me for dinner when she got off work. So we literally was dating, like we went on dates like every single day for 72 days, and just really getting to know each other, having conversations about business, careers, education, our families, children, and things like that. And we talked a little bit about past relationships and stuff. And so one day we met in Frankfurt. We met in Frankfurt to get something to eat, and we were sitting in the car afterwards, and we were just kind of sitting in the car having a conversation, and she literally, she was just like, "I love you," and I was like, "Oh, okay," like kind of like, okay, but even though when she said it, like I wasn't ready to say it, even though I was feeling a certain way, I just wasn't ready to say it yet. But she leaned in and said, "I love you," and she can explain what she meant by that. When she
So it's also one of those things, kind of, I don't know, I won't say taboo, but taboo when you're dating to be like the first person to say "I love you," right? And I knew at the time that I said it how he might feel about it, like he might be caught off guard a little bit, but I also felt like I needed to be honest about how I felt and where I was. And so it's not something I don't throw it around loosely. And of course, as a lover of Christ and of people, it's easy to say, "I love you," and mean it. But at the level that I believe we have matured to in terms of how we were connected and the ways that God had revealed each of us to the other, I knew that God had softened my heart to love him deeply, right? Like it wasn't just a superficial, surface level kind of thing. And so I was like, I prompted, like I felt I need to express that to him. Like, don't just hold on to it, just let him know. And so I told him, and I said, and I know you're that's probably not in a place where you have comfort in saying how you feel right now, but I'm just letting you know this is where I'm at, not trying to hold my cards on this one. And
and so when she said it, like I said, I would call it a fear of not really wanting to express it, especially being where I had came from at that moment. So I had a kind of a fear of expressing it back to her. So I would say at that particular point we're a month and a half in.
Well, let me pause for a second, because I think this is a question that comes up. When did you know?
Oh, well, I knew, because I could feel the connection. So I started knowing pretty early. So, so when I asked, so we was on a date in Cincinnati. So we were in Cincinnati, and we were out to eat. And so we're sitting there having a conversation, and I asked her, "What's too early to get married?" And she was, she kind of gave me this look, and she was like, "What do you mean?" And I was like, "How long for you do you think people should date before they get married?" And she was just like, "I don't know." Basically it was like, "I don't know." And I was just like, she was like, "Why are you asking that?" And I was just like, "Because I think I want to marry you." And she was like, "What?"
I think I want to marry you.
She was just like, "What?" I was like, "Yeah." I said, "You're going to be my wife." And, and I said, I want to marry you. And she was like, "Are you serious right now?" And I was like, "No, for real."
The reason why, not that I was like taken aback by, I already felt like God had revealed that was, going to happen. It was the way in which He, you know what I mean? It wasn't no pomp and circumstance. We're not out at this nice restaurant where He's like, it was none of that. It was literally like, He's just like, "So what do you think about?" And I'm like, "How early is too early?" And I'm like, "What? Like, are we having this conversation right now?"
Yeah.
Like that's where it was. And I mean, not to fast forward, but yeah, it ended up being kind of one of those things where we were like, we're not conventional by any standards when it comes to that kind of thing, where it's like, oh, we need to have some kind of formula. And it was like, literally, if God's in this and He is, and we feel comfortable with this, then hey, let's do it. And we kind of we skipped some steps. We will say that, like, we didn't have a full rollout like to our family, and you know what I mean. So I know that caught people off guard. We knew we wanted to get married, but we didn't want to have a big lavish wedding. I had done that before, and I just really wanted to for me, I wanted to focus more on the marriage. Like, this is about the marriage. And I wanted to honor His wishes because he hadn't been married before. So I was like, but if you want that, I'm here for it.
Yeah, and for me, I was like, well, you already did that. I ain't trying to do that again. You know what I'm saying? I was like, nah, I just want to focus on us.
Yeah.
But I did text our daughter, my oldest daughter, and I was like, hey, I'm thinking about getting married.
Yeah.
And she was like, Dad, stop it. And I was like, I was like, no, for real. I'm like, for real. I said, she makes me really happy, and I feel really good about it. And my daughter texted back, and she was just like, Dad, I just want you to be happy. She was like, I just want you to be happy. And whatever it is that you want to do, I just want you to be happy because you deserve to be happy. Mm-hmm. And that my daughter said that, and I was just like, yeah, well, I'm doing this because, my daughter, she is very protective.
She is, our daughter Cammy
is very protective.
Mature. I mean, she was still in high school when that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but she's very, very mature, and it was a different way. We're saying that we're not here to like co-sign on. Poster children for date heavy for 72 days and get married at all. But we are saying that it set us up for this, right? This is why we're here because we definitely had some challenges and things to overcome as we
which every marriage does. It doesn't matter how long you are engaged for. Yeah. You see some people stay engaged for years before they actually...
And they might never even get married, right? Like, that's the other side of it.
Right. And so every marriage has challenges and things like that. So going back, we literally had this conversation. About getting married. So we, when we left the restaurant, we continued the conversation about getting married and things like that. And we literally got married 3 days later. Uh-huh. It was like 2 to 3 days later we got married. And my cousin officiated.
Yeah. Yes. That's the crazy part. Yeah. So it was very, very small, very intimate. We had
very, very intimate. Yeah.
Outdoor wedding, and it was everything that I think we wanted at the time. The one thing that we regret for sure is we wanted to have like a big wedding reception. that we would plan like later, and everything just kept coming. Like we ended up shortly thereafter getting pregnant and having a baby, and then COVID, and then all like everything kept rolling. And so we haven't had that yet, but that's coming. That's still
we can do it. But our careers take a lot of time, and so part of our message throughout our podcast, we'll talk about making time for family, even though you have a career, still making time for family, still making time for each other, and just being present in every moment that you have together. So those are some of the things that we'll definitely share, that we're going to share throughout our podcast, and we want to just make sure that we share some of our experiences and possibly it can help someone else in their marriage, in their careers, relationships, whatever it is, family. We'll also be sharing health and wellness stuff, things that we like to do together throughout this podcast. So we got married. We've been married for 5 years now, going on year 6, and it has been a roller coaster. It has been a roller coaster.
For sure.
With moving and switching jobs. I switched coaching jobs like 3 times in that span, in the span of 5 years so far, going on 6. So I've changed 3 jobs. So it's
I'm about right there with you.
Yeah, it's challenging, and so those things we got to really work together, and part of it is the communication aspect, us being able to hold conversations and tough conversations, and really just talk to each other and be able to listen to each other about the things that we might be feeling or thinking or considering. And one of the things that we always end up back to is prayer. So we always end up in prayer about every situation. And so I just say that just to kind of say that anything can be worked out. Especially when it comes to communication, just having great dialogue with each other, and that communication is talking and listening. So,
yes, and the reason why we also know this. I mean, we're hoping this is going to help others. I think I know that it will, is because we could have gone another way, and we know that we lived through that, right? So after what they call the honeymoon phase, and some would say we're still in it, some people say that first 5 years or whatever, or the first year, but after getting to that space of like blending our families and all of that, I mean, it opened up things in me that I didn't know were there, and I'm sure in him too, right? And we easily could have been like, close this box, done. Especially me, right? Because I've already been down this path of, what a marriage can be. And when, it's easier. I'll just say it. I mean, I don't know for others who out there married again or whatever, it's easier for you to know your triggers, to know when something is like, I'm not, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not putting up with this. It's easier to try to like end something after you've successfully ended something before. And so I think that's part of our call, and why we're doing this is because we're hoping that there are folks who are out there that may be married, maybe you just got married, maybe you've been married for a while, but to encourage you to keep God at the center of your marriage, because there's so many things fighting against you.
So many things.
Against a marriage, to try to pull you away from each other, pull you away. Listen, pull you away from each other, away from your kids, like all the things that are, not desirable, right? Like, and so anyway, that's why we're here. And so please share, like, subscribe, follow, whatever. If you think this is helpful to you, it could be helpful to another couple. And we just look forward to being on this journey with you.
Yes, we're definitely looking forward to it. So, like you said, please like, share, subscribe, and we will be dropping a lot of wisdom, a lot of nuggets to you that's hopefully it blesses you
Yeah.
and blesses your marriage, blesses your family, maybe your friends that might be going through things, so family members. So we are definitely here to try to bless others because we've been blessed, and so we definitely want to bless others.
Yeah, so tune in. We're going to do this weekly. That's the plan. Next week, I think we'll be kind of venturing into that blended families. He mentioned co-parents, that space. So Lord guide us on that. All right.
Yeah.
Well, that's it.
Yes,
Right.
that's it. That's a wrap.
Okay.
So take care. We look forward to being here in this space with you.
That's it. All right.